Hey guys, welcome in. Big weekend ahead of us. Let's be realistic, right? We still got Major League Baseball, NFL underway week one, but don't forget we got college football now. We've got a week under our belt, week two ahead of us, and who better to talk college football with than our good friend Ralph Michaels, WagerTalk.com, and he joins us here. And Ralph, exciting time of year. We all know this, brother, but man, it was so good to have college football back last week, wasn't it?
I'll tell you what, football is king. The NFL is king, yes, but college football, such an exciting game. My favorite sport, it's tied with college hoops, but just the pageantry, just the passion, just the excitement, nothing better.
All right, now you got a bunch of things going on, guys. Of course, WagerTalk.com is where you can visit Ralph. Make sure you get to his page there. The plays are rolling in, guys. The opportunity for you to get Ralph in your corner, it is there. But you've got a show, of course, on Sports Grid as well that you and Teddy Covers are doing. How's that going?
Doing great. You know, Teddy and I are on live from 12 to 1 Eastern daily. The networks will obviously start expanding. We've had a few jump on, so looking forward as it continues to grow.
I love it. All right, so college football, week one lessons in the book here, Ralph. What did you pull away week one in college football?
You know, always keep track of those teams that were upset early. A lot of times it could be a season wrecker. Sometimes it is an attitude to bounce back. Those double-digit dogs, the double-digit favorites that lost, Tennessee, Missouri, South Carolina, Purdue, Western Kentucky, and Arizona back week one. Now, I treat them differently. A team like Tennessee that I watched did not pass the eye test. I tweeted out in the third quarter, Georgia State looked like the better team on the field. Teams like Missouri and Purdue, listen, they were minus 4 or 5 turnovers in that game. You're not going to win those games. Those are the teams I certainly want to jump out and look to play on week two. Those others, like South Carolina, again, there was a quarterback injury, and like Tennessee, I look to pay attention if I'm going to fade them or not. I do have an angle which is quite eye-opening for Tennessee. Teams that lost as a home favorite, as a touchdown or more favorite in week one, if they're a home dog or a home favorite of up to minus 11 the next week, they're only 5-16 against the spread. That's 24% since the year 2000. That's Tennessee this week. So I know it's been a pretty bet game with BYU and Tennessee, but the stats clearly show Tennessee is in a fade situation.
It's shocking, too. SEC, not off to a great start, but we always know, listen, the SEC is very top-heavy, right? We all knew this coming into the season. Maybe what we didn't know is just how bad Florida State is. And I don't know, they are the chance for Willie Taggart's job, man. They're getting loud here in Florida, Ralph. I don't know, is it a little premature to stick a fork in Willie just yet?
Hey, I drank the Kool-Aid week one. I was on them. I thought they were going to be significantly improved. Hey, listen, I had a 1-3 week one at Wager Talking College Football. I'll tell it like it is because there's going to be some losing weeks in the mix. One of my losses, Florida State. Another of my losses, Northwestern. So I was on two of the high-profile losses. Bringing up Boise State, hats off to them. They sure looked good. And I'll tell you what, something I play against is a true freshman making a road start. There were 4 true freshmen that started this week. Those 4 true freshmen went 4-0 straight up. 3 of them covered the spread, Arizona State the other. Hank Brockemeyer for Boise, Bo Nix for Auburn, Sam Howell for North Carolina, and Jaden Daniels for Arizona State. They gave up a late touchdown to Kent State. So, moving forward, I think Trevor Lawrence set the bar. We know in basketball, listen, these kids have been ready to play as true freshmen for a long time. They play AAU, they start training young. The same thing's now happening with these quarterbacks. CYO, young ball, their diet's correct, they're getting trained properly, they're going to camps at an early age, they're taking care of their bodies, they're taking care of their minds, and as a true freshman, we're going to see more and more of them ready to play like we did. Again, it's something I did get burned on, something has had great success in the past, playing against those true freshman quarterback making their first road start.
One of the things I watched over this weekend, big conversation in my neck of the woods, Lane Kiffin, FAU, they travel to Columbus, take on Ohio State, and Ralph, unless I'm crazy here, you take that first 8 minutes out of the game where there were some missed assignments by FAU. Lane Kiffin and FAU, they outscored them and outplayed them for 3.5 quarters in that game. I know everyone's Justin Fields. I don't know, man. I don't think everything's as hunky-dory as everyone's trying to make it seem in Ohio State. What did you take away?
Well, the best tweet I saw was Florida Atlantic playing the 3-5-0 defense. It was sickening. Of course, I watched that game being an Ohio State fan and jumping out to that 28-0 lead. The guys were running wide open, and it just came too easy for them. And after that, they sat on their hands, and they were clearly outplayed. We'll see. I take away two things looking forward at Ohio State. So excited to watch them to Cincinnati. And, yes, people rip Chip Kelly and Dorian Thompson, but Cincinnati's defense is a legit top 15 defense. They held foes to under 50% completions last year. They're doing it again this year. So, again, I am not too quick to back the Buckeyes. In fact, I lean with Cincinnati this week.
I loved that. Ralph Michaels, WagerTalk.com. Guys, make sure that you get over to WagerTalk.com. It's pretty simple. Just right there, WagerTalk.com. Get to Ralph's page there. Options are available. Get Ralph working for you this college football season. And Ralph, I got to tell you, we've talked about it in the past. There's probably no easier place to recruit in the country than USC. You got all the athletes in the world. This year was supposed to be maybe the year. Returning quarterback, JT Daniels, Clay Helton fighting for his job, supposedly. And then Daniels like that. And all of a sudden blows his knee out. Now he's out. Now you got a freshman again at USC. They can't cut your break. And also, Stanford's coming to town. You got to take on Stanford this week. Never easy. Are we sticking a fork in USC? Are they done now?
Well, yes. Where he would have been the. And my concern is this USC Trojan team still allowed 462 yards and 22 first downs to Fresno State with 23 points. They allowed 5.2 yards rushing at home against one of the fewest returning starting teams in college football that lost an experienced, heady quarterback. So, yes, there's issues on offense, and there's issues on defense as well.
One of the teams, of course, that we haven't seen in a while because they played before everyone else, Week 0, University of Miami, who seems to have, they found their quarterback. Trevon Williams was pretty impressive under complete duress the entire game. And they had a week off. North Carolina, Mac Brown, he's back. They win. They beat South Carolina. And now, of course, Miami's getting ready to play them in Chapel Hill. Miami's laying 4.5 in this game. It was nice they beat South Carolina, but I'm not necessarily buying North Carolina yet. Are you buying the University of Miami?
Well, again, you put up 308 yards. You did what you had to do in a game to cover. I was on him week 1 because I thought it would be a low-scoring game. I thought it would be a conservative game plan, and that came to fruition. And that's the thing about week 2 is – you are making adjustments. And is Mac Brown and North Carolina back? Or is South Carolina just another team that I had pretty high ranked and laid an egg? So you have to make those adjustments, and week 2 is a guessing game, even for us that study the game full time. It's how much do you upgrade a team, or how much was their success due to how bad the other team played? Now, Bentley's injury was a big deal for South Carolina, having a senior quarterback back. This was the team, a person that was supposed to guide this team to a lot of success. I'm happy to see North Carolina back. I mean, it's a program that has been down for so long, and people thought Fedora would turn it around. Didn't happen. So happy for North Carolina. And while I like Miami with the young O-line and a young quarterback, going on the road as a conference favorite, I'm not ready to do that. You have to remember, these conference games this early are a big deal. People get more conservative. People aren't willing to risk things. You fall behind on a conference loss, and it's like a 2-game defeat this early.
Couple more games here, Ralph, and we've been talking about this game for a lot here. Michigan, Big Blue at home, taking on Army, the triple option. Army, I mean, people have got Army in their top 25 in a lot of power rankings here. Not necessarily a great game against Rice, although they did what they had to do to win. Michigan has historically under Harbaugh won these games rather easily. 22.5 points. For a team that is going to, let's face it, triple option, it's like watching paint dry here. Do you like Michigan, obviously, to win? Do you like them laying the points in this game against Army?
Well, the problem is Army going to be able to score? Now, a couple points I want to make. Number one, Rice has improved. They brought in 7 JUCOs. I believe they had, off the top of my head, 14 or 15 returning starters. And then they brought in 7 grad transfers / JUCOs with experience to upgrade that unit. I also wanted to mention, Rice played Army week 1. That's a big advantage, practicing the entire month of August on that week 1 opponent, working on that option. Teams that play them later in the year don't have that luxury. Now, with that said, Michigan's offense, they went to this new no-huddle, fast-paced offense, and they looked terrific. They couldn't call the plays right. They were fumbling the snaps. They just were not the right team. Plus, Michigan may be without 3 starters this week. A big knockoff. I mean, Jeter, Ruman, and Peoples-Jones, a DT, their left tackle, and a wide receiver may all be out. Here's the question if I'm Michigan. Yes, I want to win the game. Yes, I don't want the game in question, but as good as Wisconsin showed, do you really want to show a lot of wrinkles for this supposedly new offense that struggled week 1? Do you want to show it week 2 and put it on film for Wisconsin next week? Or do you want to hide some of that, get a 17 to 20 point win, be happy, and worry about the Badgers?
All right, one final game for you, Ralph Michaels, WagerTalk.com. Guys, he is ready to rock and roll. Head over to WagerTalk.com right now. Check out his page. There's something for everybody. Packages available. You want to profit in college football this year, this is your man. And listen, this is my dark horse. I've been backing this team. I think if they can get past this week, and, of course, they get past the Red River Shootout, well, there's no way we're not talking about Texas in a couple of weeks here for a possible playoff spot. But they got to get past LSU at home. They are getting 6. I don't know if it'll reach 7. I know everyone loves Burrows and LSU, and the question is, can Texas, are they back? Well, I don't know. If they get past this game, Tom Herman, I like his chances. What do you think about Texas LSU this weekend?
I am opposite of you on this. Texas is a team that only has 9 returning starters. Mm-hmm. Texas is a team that Ellinger had a 25-5 ratio last year. How much better can he get? Texas is a team that was outgained last year. They were a 9-win team or a 10-win team, and they got outgained on the season. That's a concern for me. You have the running back issues. Now, trust me, the running back issues are priced into this line. This line opened up at 3 or 3.5, and it jumped to 5.5 because of the running back issues. The whole world knows they lost their running back. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Right. The whole world knows that a quarterback is now the number 2. The whole world knows a wide receiver was number 3. LSU's new offense, they are now going 4 or 5 wide. They are going up tempo. I believe with a second-year starter in Joe Burrow, the old Ohio State transfer, they can run that offense. I I like LSU in this spot. And, Joe, there's not very often that one angle will keep me off a game. Mm-hmm. But Tom Herman as a home dog will. 8-2 as a home dog in Texas. Mm-hmm. 13-2 as a home dog in Texas and Houston. And going back to his Ohio State and Iowa State days as an OC, 24-2 as a home dog when he's on the coaching staff. That will keep me off backing LSU. With that said, we've seen Texas, when they're behind or playing equal against Big 12 foes last week, push the tempo. Mm-hmm. I know LSU's offense is going to be able to move the ball. 55 is a cheap price for me. I do like the over, and it'll probably be one of my top plays and on my card this weekend.
Love it. WagerTalk.com. That's where you guys got to get to. And while you're there at Wager Talk, you know, Ralph, you had posted something on your Twitter page. Guys, make sure that you are following Ralph on Twitter. You mentioned, too, like, I know it's football season, right? But there are opportunities to profit in Major League Baseball in the final month here in the closing weeks of the season. People don't realize, man, some of these numbers are so inflated in Major League Baseball right now that there's some money to be made down the home stretch in MLB.
Yeah, I actually have a 5% play in baseball, and I've only had 5 plays in baseball the last 17 days. I'm very, very, very tight with my guidelines when I use an MLB play, but there is value. Like any sport, the bookmakers are concerned with football. They're putting out a number. We have fewer public people and fewer sharps looking at baseball on a daily basis. This is the biggest weekend for them with week 1 of the NFL, week 2 in college. So clearly there is some value. And, you know, I want to jump back, Joe, and talk about value. One more thing with football. Mm-hmm. You know, we talked about making adjustments from week 1 to week 2, and we talked about true freshmen and how that changed. Well, you know, a public handicapper, what's the one thing he looks at when he looks at a team from one year to the next? He looks at returning starters. And that to them thinks, well, a team that returns 17 starters is going to be so much better. But there's times when, hey, if you were a bad team and you had 17 people that played for you and now they're coming back, how much are they really going to improve from one year to the next with the same coach? How about this stat for week 1? There were 11 teams that returned 17 or more starters in week 1. They went 4-6 straight up, 4-5-1 against the spread. Wow. There were 13 teams that returned 9 or fewer starters. They went 9-4 straight up, 9-4 against the spread, including your Texas Longhorns.
Yep, go figure, right? Who knows? And then even you had one team like Louisville had all those returning starters from a bad team, but new coach, new blood. Ralph, it's a new year. Bottom line is we're still talking about 18 to 20-year-olds here. This ain't, you know, it's not grown-ass men returning at the same position. They're 18 to 20-year-olds. We got to keep that in mind moving forward during the college season. Oh, frozen Ralph. Ralph Michaels. Here he is, WagerTalk.com. There he is joining us. WagerTalk.com, guys, is where you can get him. But keep that in mind, Ralph. We're dealing with 18 to 20-year-olds. And you know what? Just when you think they're going to do something, you make a left, they end up going right. So keep that in mind as we move along through the season.
You know, absolutely. I say that in college basketball all the time. When you have an 18-year-old playing point guard and all of a sudden he gets hurt the first play of the game, and, I mean, that happened to Vanderbilt last year, right? You have an NBA player who played, 2 games and got hurt? It changes perspective. Same things with these young kids. Coaching is so important. And, my good friend Brad Powers, I'm looking out this number. We talk about head coaches that improve from one year to the next. This year, second-year Power 5 head coaches went 1-13 in week 1.
Oh.
So you think these coaches or Power 5 coaches, they're back for a second year, they're going to have their team better?
Yeah.
The only cover was Jimbo Fisher at A&M by 0.5 point.
Wow.
Almost 0-14 against the spread. Credit that, again, good friend Brad Powers 7 at Twitter.
Awesome, man. Also, Cal Sports LV. Make sure you're checking them out on Twitter, WagerTalk.com. Ralph will join us each and every Thursday here, getting you ready for the weekend of football. Ralph, good luck tonight. Good luck this weekend. As always, my friend, we'll talk to you again soon.
Joe, appreciate it. Talk to you next Thursday. Always a blast.
You got it. Ralph Michaels, wagertalk.com, guys. Get there today.